Hi everyone! Today I wanted to discuss with you how to deal with uncertainty and the things that I'm doing to stop myself feeling so anxious in such an uncertain time. I think it's fair to say that 2020 for the most part has been a fairly uncertain year, and it's unfortunately looking to continue that way for the foreseeable. My first suggestion with how to deal with uncertainty is to not dwell on the things that we cannot control, such as the future, and to make peace with where we are at right now. It is a very scary and overwhelming concept to think of all the things that could be, which only heightens our anxiety and the uncertainty that we are feeling at the moment. By accepting that we can't control what's happening right now, and to make peace with what has been, and the situation we have unfortunately found ourselves in, will help to reduce anxiety of what's to come. For example, I've lost around 90% of my business that took over a year to build a solid foundation for, and yes, of course, at first I was completely overwhelmed and anxious and nervous of what the future for my business was. But throughout owning my business, I have been faced with similar situations, and I knew that my planning would only take me so far, and that unexpected events would happen that I would have to deal with that I had no control over whatsoever. Now, these experiences have taught me that we don't have control over everything in life, and we can plan as much as we want to, but of course there's external factors that we just can't prepare for. So by coming to terms with things being the way they are right now, we'll only reduce the feeling of uncertainty, and will also take away any additional pressure that we're putting on ourselves. Once you're in this mindset of accepting that we can't control everything, you will be able to think rationally and start planning again. Whilst I remember, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel by clicking on the link below. I do weekly videos similar to this, so I'd love for you to join me for them. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. My second point, which backs on from my first point, is to take control over the things that we can. Now, these can be things such as your finances, your daily routine, planning what meals to have for the day, and how you feel and deal with this current situation. Now, I'm all for routines and giving my day some structure, which really does help me reduce my uncertainty of how I feel about the future. At the moment, I like to take things day by day, as obviously we can't plan too far in advance, but I like to plan the night before so I know exactly what tasks or what I want to achieve the next day. And by doing this, it allows me to concentrate on the right now and not so much about the future and what's to come. As humans, we're so used to planning our lives months and even years in advance, in our jobs, in our personal lives, that we're not actually used to concentrating on our lives on a day-to-day basis. To overcome this, you kind of need to change your mindset, and I've literally just flipped everything on its head, and instead of thinking of the future, I'm thinking about today and tomorrow and the things that I have control over that I can do right now. Leading on from this, my third point is to replace your expectations with a plan. By replacing our expectations with a plan that we can put in place and execute, we will be reducing our feelings of disappointment if our expectations aren't met. So instead of expecting the future to give you something specific, put a plan in place so that you can create for yourself what you want to experience. This will also allow you to take back some form of control over your life, as mentioned in my previous point. When we are able to control things, we feel more at ease and less anxious, because our uncertainty is reduced. Now, whilst we have no current control over the future, and there's only so far in advance we can plan, we can still plan for things such as the best strategies to put in place to regrow our business, which is something I'm certainly working on at the moment, or we can plan our finances, which is on a lot of our minds at the moment, and is something that will again help to reduce our levels of anxiety. My fourth tip is to utilise stress reduction techniques such as meditation, yoga, mindfulness, those kind of things, or even simply just going on a walk to clear your mind, and most importantly, to avoid watching the news. Not sure if you're anything like me, but I find when I watch the news on repeat throughout the day, I instantly feel my anxiety and panic rise, and I start to think of all the things that are uncertain right now and all the dread and horror that is going on in the world. However, when I switch it off for the majority of the day, I instantly feel myself at peace, and I'm able to resume some form of normality in my life. Because despite all the constant negatives that's going on, which I appreciate is important to know about, there is so much positive that we're just not hearing about. Now, normality is what we know and is what makes us feel most at ease and the most certain about our lives. Therefore, allowing this feeling back into your life will help you feel so much more less uncertain. So I would suggest bringing things back into your day-to-day that you used to do before any lockdown, obviously if it's safe to do so, or even you could modify these things to fit in with your life as it is right now. As well as this, I would suggest taking 10 to 15 minutes in the morning or throughout the day or in the evening, whenever you can find the time or what suits your lifestyle, to meditate or take a quiet moment to yourself. You could perhaps also do this on a walk. Like I said, I tend to not go on my phone so much when I'm walking, or you know, will just kind of have time to myself, and that's really important because it just allows you to come to terms with how you're feeling and be just still for a moment, which is really crucial at this time. But obviously you can practice other forms of stress reduction techniques that suit you and that make you feel most comfortable and relaxed. Last but certainly not least, my fifth tip is to talk to your loved ones and your friends and to support one another. A lot of people tend to resort in shutting themselves off in situations like this because we don't know how to handle our feelings and it's all very overwhelming. However, we should be doing the complete opposite. Now, whilst we can't pop over to a friend's house for a cup of tea or visit family members, which is what we're used to doing, we do luckily live in a world with amazing technology where we can contact people literally at a click of a button. And there's nothing worse than feeling like you're going through this alone when in reality the entire world is also going through this. So pick up the phone, dial somebody close to you, or somebody you can have a laugh with, or somebody that will take your mind off it or talk you through your emotions if that's what you know, whatever you need to talk about. Just talk to somebody. And also, if you're feeling okay and you're dealing with this situation, offer your support to somebody that maybe isn't, and who you can cheer up. And just remember that you are not alone in this situation. And if you want to talk to me, you can just leave me a comment below and we can have a conversation that way. Now, like I said, these are very, very surreal and uncertain times, and there are other ways that you may be dealing with this situation. Hopefully this video, if you don't know how to deal with it, will give you some form of guidelines or suggestions that you hadn't thought about. And I just think it's all about changing your mindset and having control over your mindset, which is something we can have control over at this time in our lives. If you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe. It really would mean so much to me, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.